Um, so I had to get up and move around a little bit and then come back and truly meditate. But one of the things I noticed was uh, thoughts drifting in and out and allowing them to just do that without, you know, getting caught up in whatever the thoughts were was really relaxing to just let them flow and not get on work, get caught up in it. So that was good. It was good meditation, I say.
Ashe.
Me, it was like just truly being with things just as they were and not putting any attention on one particular thing. It was peaceful just to let things flow. And earlier today, I asked myself a question, or I might have said it out loud to two people, just soulful thing, you know, which to me would bring about balance, not really looking to do anything with most of the stuff that comes through my mind, but just to be present in that moment. So that's what I saw for myself.
Ashe. Andrea. She's muted. Now, there it is. She's unmuted now.
It was a peaceful place for me. That was my experience of it. Um, I saw the figure, um, and I intentionally did not. I didn't focus because I just didn't know how to navigate uh, being in that peaceful space as well as paying attention to something. And so that was, maybe that's something for me to learn, or just being in the peace of it is just fine. And that's where that was my choice, just being in the peace. I love the music. I love the voice. It just went with the music to me. And that's how I used it.
Ashe.
Claire, there was one more thing for me. As you were saying, bring in others,
Mm-hmm.
it was, I did a meditation the other night and it was like bringing in your angels. But as you were saying, bring in others, it was like I didn't see anybody, but names kept going through my mind. And of people that I haven't seen in years and people that have been deceased for years. And that also was very peaceful for me, just to let them float by and not bring a story to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ashe. Yeah. Um, but Dr. Seth, I think we're all good now. But Andrea's muted again.
Yeah, she muted herself.
She muted herself.
Said in
Okay.
such a way, I may be better back here for a moment.
Okay. But do you want to share anything though?
Yeah, with the meditation,
Dr. Seth, they can't hear you on Zoom. Who has a microphone? Can you give it to Dr. Seth, please? Thank you.
yeah, I could just yell. I was saying with the Meditation, I just felt more comfortable with my eyes closed today for whatever, I just did. And yeah, I found myself, yeah, very relaxed. I'd say the last few Wednesdays I've fallen asleep, but not today. So yeah, I found it very beneficial. Yeah, Ashe.
Ashe. So, I, that particular meditation got my attention because began, we first began talking about waves and the body is an energy system. Body is a system of energy. For example, breath. If there's no breath, there's no body. So it's a system of energy. And so I was been very more aware lately that there's so much scientific research as to the impact of where we are in our mind on our body, that our bodies are definitely affected by where we are in our mind. And I remember I always liked Louise Hay's work, which was How Your Mind Can Keep You Well. And before I ever heard of these teachings, when I was knee deep in the Baptist teachings, it was books that called Higher States of Consciousness. And I never heard of that before. I always just heard about believe Jesus, believes God, don't ask any questions. so when I read the book, I go, higher states of consciousness, what is that talking about? So it had my attention a long time. And I remember many years ago, when my oldest son was young, I used to journal a lot. And I used to journal, and especially when it was raining, it was so amazing. And then once I remember I went beyond, and I went beyond any point of reference. I went to a space within the mind of mine where I had no point of reference for anything, including what I call God, and that was very scary to me. I put that journal away, and I didn't pick it up for many years. So I had no one to talk to, especially with that kind of conversation. It would have been unacceptable. And so when I think about many things in my own experience, I go, it seems to me there is a way to access the more where we leave points of references, even though it may be a little bit scary. Like when I say when you come to the end of how you have come to the end of your programming, the end of how you see everything. And so you have to know that's the point that you have been taught something more. You can fly, for example, you can fly. So I was thinking, and I've done this a lot, working mind in mind, and I really do hold that the mind-body connection. I really do hold that to be true. And so when I came across a lot of these scientific videos with these Hertz waves and all of that, I thought, what if we could really practice coming out of distraction? Because meditation allows you to not be in distraction. Because when you're just kind of walking around, seeing, you're noticing the walls, the clothes, the chairs, people, you're hearing all the sounds, all the mind chatter going through our own mind. Because a lot of mind chatter going on without even realizing it. And sometimes your thoughts don't think, and so you don't stop thinking, your thoughts just keep bombarding your attention. But we don't have to give our attention to the thoughts that emerge. To get that, we don't have to give our attention to the thoughts that emerge, that present themselves to us. So I consider that thoughts present themselves to us to see whether or not we're interested in that particular thought. So this meditation is like eyes wide open, and yet I'm in full presence, in full awareness, and I'm not necessarily thinking about, I'm not mentally processing, I'm not thinking thoughts, I'm not remembering, I'm not anything, I'm just being, I'm just in full presence being with nothing going on. That's meditation. When you have something going on, that's not meditation. So when you're in full presence with nothing going on, that's that a whole other dimension within what we are. It's not so you oriented, not such a identity sense of self as a you or as a me, which has all these histories. So, so the eyes are wide open. It's like you've been drawn not into outer, but you've been drawn within a deeper realm, within a deeper space, within a deeper consciousness. And so as I was being with, I was being with what I was being with called video. So but what you're really being with is what's taking place within your awareness. It seems as though you've been present to a video, but what you're really being with, you've been in presence with in where you are in being. You're non-physical. That's amazing. You know, pure, because the body is a system of living intelligence and information. And the deeper research now is showing that almost any diagnosis that we have, almost any physical diagnosis, it can be traced back someplace in some realm, some mindset, something that happened in time. And to me, I go, oh, really? So it says to me that this body, is an effect, but what we are, we can affect any effect. If we didn't believe that, you wouldn't bother to pray, you wouldn't bother to have affirmations, you wouldn't bother to say, oh, well, let's think positive, let's not think negative, let's not gossip, if you really know that according to where you are in being, not in doing, not in having, not in knowing, simply in being. So to practice simply being in being. And so we probably don't have time for that tonight, but at some point, I used to do this as an exercise to have maybe it's homework for all of us, and have in your mirror, stand before your mirror, and you're not looking at yourself, because that's physical, but you're in presence with your presence, Presence. Well, look at how's my hair. No, not. You're being in presence with your presence. And notice what you're present. Notice where you are in presence. What is your presence? What is your presence? When you walk into a room, what is your presence? When you're alone with yourself, what is your presence? That's a whole different conversation. That's a non-physical conversation. And so mind, for example, cannot be located any place. So it's non-physical. You can locate anything physical, but you cannot locate mind in terms of physical. You can't locate spirit in terms of form, but yet it's everything. You can't locate breath. You can't hold it. You can't hold it. And yet it's such power. It is such power. So you gotta get the power of breath consciousness awareness. Breath consciousness awareness. And so when we send our attention, the column of white light, the crown chakra, we know when we're born, we're not hard-headed yet. Babies, they're not yet hard-headed. You can't drop them on their head, you'll lose them. So they're not yet hard-headed. So, but at some point, what happened? It's hard. Like something, when the earthquake something fell on my head, knocked me in the head, I go, whoa, and it was hard too. So it's not funny because it hurt, but in the meantime, I just sat still. I have known sometimes your greatest anything is just the stillness. Not thinking, not anything, just this being still. So I just sat there being still, because that's what I had was the stillness. You know, my head, yeah, but I just had the power of stillness. It allows for something. Otherwise, it's disallowed when you're in distraction. And so the sort of white light coming down through the crown chakra, and you know, in the video, it was this whole, all this beautiful, divine, outer perimeter of light. We all have light. We have a light body. And there's even now a photography where you can actually see that. And some, you call them auras and all the halos, but we actually have a light body. So this whole light, so when you visualize this cylinder of white light from infinity coming down through the crown chakra, and moving through your entire body system, and then having beings join you where you're all, by the way, the beings that join you are all aspects of what you are. There's not those beings and then you and me. They're all aspects of what you are. That's always there. That's always there, inseparable. So when we in the cylinder of light coming down through, and they land any place in your body where you like to have a little further insight, a little further clarity, a little more information, because your body is a system of infinite, self-knowing, self-fulfilling information available to us. This is absolutely so what's so. It's absolutely so. And so I would be interested to know that anyone drop down to some location in your physical body and notice anything that came into your awareness. Anybody have that? When you drop down, who was that saying? Somebody that there were people you hadn't thought of for a long time. Okay. So these are all aspects of ourselves now, because we think there's y'all and then us. We think there's those and then us. We think that. No, we are the allness. We are the allness. That whole oneness thing we talk about. Well, guess what? There's not that oneness and then ourself. That would be two. If it was that oneness and then myself, that would be two. So we are that. And so when you become introspective, looking around outside of your 3D mind, outside of your mental processing, there's something more. There's something more. And when I first had that experience, I go, whoa, where did it go? I was having a lot of pain. And someone took me, I go, where did it go? Where did it go? And it's like, oh, that was energy? I thought it was pain. And so I'm just saying that there's so much more of what we are that we can tap into and tune into. So this particular one was just to take a little look like, oh, let's see where I am in the infinite field of awareness. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? So, okay, well, I was noticing this, I was that, no. Sometimes we're in distraction, and that's a part of it too. But then just to become conscious of being in distraction and then bring ourselves back. That's like meditation. The minute you become quiet and still, all kind of thoughts pop up. But then you bring your attention back. So, what is your listening to my speaking? Everybody, what is your listening to my speaking? And I'm not just talking, I really am speaking.
You know, as I mentioned before, I know what I know about scientists. Scientists are such out of the box thinkers that when that phrase, the scientists can explain why the audio, why the body is healing, they can't explain it. So so I know they're out of the box thinkers right from the beginning. And I know in metaphysics, I hope I'm saying it right, that we're constantly taught that our mind is the way as we think it is, so it'll be. And so it's why it's so important for us to stay centered and focus on who we are than outside sources telling us who we are. And that's constantly, we're constantly taught that. So that's where my thinking is on that, to stay centered and not listen to outside suggestions. Turn within, I should.
Ashe.
Right behind you, Elliot. Oh, no, good. The word distraction jumped out in your speaking. Because there's distraction, like some days you try to meditate and you're distracted, or some days you try to listen to someone, but your brain is working on something else and you're distracted. But distraction, and then so to say, okay, well, don't be distracted, let me meditate. But distraction runs a lot deeper than that. Because another thing that you said, which I agree with, is that ultimately we are all one, right? But then what makes the experience different? What makes two people see, I can give this example a lot. Two people see, a pit bull running at them. One loves pit bulls and they're excited, one is terrified. And that's two different sorts of distraction.
Yeah.
Any sort of limitation, because as these thoughts, like you said, the mind is here and we're all in the mind and the mind is everything and all the thoughts are here, but which thoughts do you choose to take hold of? The thoughts that you choose to take hold of, what's making you take hold of them except for who you are and what is and isn't distracting you?
But what about certain thoughts that overshadow you? Because the thoughts coming, you're overshadowed by the thought which says it must not be your true thought.
Same thing. It depends on the person. So
Yeah.
some people are thought of, I'll never be able to make it. And some people will just stand in the mirror and go like this and say, yes, you will. I'm not listening to that voice. And then they run outside. Some people get that same little, you're not going to be able to make it thought, and they could be paralyzed. But even though we're all one, the difference may be that, I'm using the word distraction here today, but isn't that formation? When I was about 8 years old, my mother said, and no offense, Vanessa or anybody, my mother said, you can't trust those white people. And she was speaking from her experience, and I was very young, and I could, and I love everybody, and I heard that when she said it.
Right, but your mother had, for example, I know most because I had a lot of stuff too. Little children are not yet programmed by this 3D, by the experience in this dimension. They're not as programmed as we are. As we grow into the years and have more experiences, we have more programming, we have more subconscious records that bleed through into the present time and overshadow what's taking place at perhaps according to the record that according to our subconscious record. But here's, I want to get back one thing, and I'll come back to this in 1 second. We cannot explain the indefinable. Some things are not definable. For example, like the word God. You can't explain, you can speak about the indefinable, but you can't explain the indefinable. You can only speak about it. And so there are some things that there's some knowing that we have that cannot be spoken, cannot be explained. Of course, the word explain is an interesting word as well. But in the oneness of it all, there's not sameness. There's diversity within the one, like numbers. There's infinite mathematical formulas and configurations of, say, a single digit 1 and 0. Okay, but look at the diversity of that. That's exactly, we are a complex system of infinite diversity. So to look for sameness or uniformity, I think that to me could be a distraction because something is what it is until it's not. Nothing's ever and there's nothing fixed and frozen and remains as it is, like water. Water can be steam, it can be ice, whatever. But I think there is great diversity within whatever we're talking about. This is how I have it wired in this moment, in any case. And so I just think we have more access the more we just look around, like taking a little during eyes open, eyes closed, whichever, and we're in presence with ourselves, noticing what's there, because as an adult, we've come to some conclusion. Little children don't have all these conclusions we've come to. Adults have all kind of points of views and all kind of positions about things. Little kids just go and play in the mud. They don't know anything about it. They get no dirty, they go wash their clothes. That's our job, to clean them up and wash the clothes. And so little kids have just a lot more, the more at play than we are in later years. So I think that I'm not sure I can say that's a conclusion about anything. I'm not sure. Some things I know have an order to them. Some things don't have an order to them. Some things have a some things don't. But I think everything's a part of everything. And then I think we have value judgments about it. You know, well, here's how I see this. And like you were saying too about the lens through which we see, like eyewitness testimony. It's, you know, it's what they bring to what's seen. It's what I bring to what is seen that I see. I see what I bring to that which is seen. So if I were to kick off my shoe and I say, what did you see? You'd have some little bit of interpretation about that, a little bit of something more than, oh, I just saw a shoe, like Sunday when I sat on that chair and my chain caught, and when I stood up, it broke. So Elliot said, he said, I saw it when it flew. I saw it when it flew. So we're looking all over the place, never did find it. Now, is it someplace there? Yeah. Where? I have no idea. You know, so now I'm just including that it broke, it flew. I'm good. It broke, it flew, okay. There's no history carries forward with that. But our biases, history carries forth with what we've experienced, and children don't have all of this accumulation of experiences. I think that's the difference with us. So when we can, for example, you can just like a moment just to, I'm going to call it meditation for now. Well, yeah, thoughts emerge, but those are not your thoughts. Those are thoughts. We live in a sea of thoughts. Those are just thoughts. They're only your thoughts when you go, oh yeah, to the thought. When you agree with the thought, then it's your thought. But what if you just notice the thought and let it go by? For example.
Yeah, being human requires grabbing some thoughts.
It does. But when the thoughts begin to think you, so is this my thought, or is this thought now thinking me? That becomes a little fine line distinction. Perhaps. Is this my thought, or is this thought now thinking me? If I'm responding to the thought, if I'm going with the thought, did I think that? Or I'm going with the thought that popped up?
Well, that's two right there. Did I think it, or did it think me?
Well,
So-
yeah.
So it all goes together.
But it's all you.
Yeah,
It's you gotta stay with the count of one. The
Yeah.
minute you go in the count of two, you're in distraction. Did I think the thought? Did the thought think me? It's all a count of, it's a play of consciousness upon itself. It's a play of consciousness upon itself. It's a mind of mind in mind. Mind in mind is mine. There's not the mind of God, for example, in my mind. No, mind in mind. One. Perhaps. I don't have any final answer. I'm just in a conversation.
yeah. Yeah, well, being human is a distraction.
Well, the being of human being is a distraction. The way I have it wired, Dr. said. There's a being of human being. What is a being of human being? Now we use these terms about we'll just take Christ consciousness, for example. So, is Christ consciousness the same as the being of human being? But Jesus was in human incarnation, but Christ is not is non-physical. The man Jesus was as physical as you and I, but the state of consciousness was called the Christ. For example, like the Septimus, who's more than qualified for a bunch of things I know, or attorneys, or whatever specialty you specialize in. But you're not your title. But I don't think we are our titles. I don't think we are our. I don't think we are is anything. I don't think we are. I don't think I'm my car, or my position, or my status. I think we have different diverse roles in the realm of consciousness. We have roles, but in the being of human being, there are certain words that come to play that I don't think the word Christ characterizes or embodies. For example, I don't know. This is just an out loud conversation in the moment. So, and I know Jean and D-Walk and Andrea are paying close attention in this conversation. So don't let us, and I forget to look around. I don't look around sometimes. So, so anytime y'all want to speak, all you have to do is go, excuse me, because Dr. Seth usually stops me, but he let me roll this evening for some reason.
Well, I was saying that being human, or as you have it wired, the being of human being, is a distraction.
From what, though?
Well, there you go. What is a distraction? So then to say distraction implies, again, that's another two statement, because it implies that I'm distracted from something. So to attempt to answer this question, this inquiry, being of human being is a distraction from being, because I talked about subject object Sunday. So I am. That's it. I am human. Now that means aging, anger, jealousy. These are all distractions.
And that's the being of human being. Would that be the
Yeah.
being of human being?
Sure, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I call, just being a person, just being a person, not just being,
Yeah.
but identifying as a two-legged thing
Yeah,
that we
so,
are.
so being human in being. Let me see if I'm here on my list. Being human in being, that's where the things like a sense of limitation and boundaries and fear and all kind of things come from.
Yeah, we see your
Being-
hand here on Zoom,
Okay,
Andrea.
but let me just finish this
Okay.
out. I'll be right back to you. Being in human being comes with the distraction of limitations and boundaries, comes with the distraction of being at effect, comes with certain distraction. But that's not actual, but that's still within what we are. That's still within the what that we are. So it's not that the being of a human being is in separation, but it is a play of mind within mind called human being. And that human is an interesting word, by the way, to me. I couldn't find it in the Bible. I know we're very Bible oriented. The word human is not in there. It says it's implied, but it's in there. It says became a living soul, a living being. So that's a whole other thing. Anyway, who had their hand up?
Andrea.
What hit me was when you said the Christ, and I think we said, and it doesn't matter whether this is what I came up with, but this is what I also thought I heard. The Christ is a state of consciousness, and when I then thought is being human is a state of consciousness.
Yes.
And I was listening as well as the distraction and distinguishing distraction. And we were looking at being human as a distraction. I thought I heard that in the conversation. And so as I I looked at what is a distraction. And then I got consciousness as a distraction in the way that I'm distinguishing it. Because when I hold consciousness, it's an awareness. It's like a presence, and it's like a manifestation. And this awareness shows up as human, and I hear this awareness shows up as the Christ, and this awareness shows up as a rock. All these things, which are for me showing up as like manifestations, they're a state of consciousness. They are a collection of energy. The energy shows up. It kind of like stabilizes for a moment as a thing, as what we call a thing. And that thing I get is a state of consciousness. Asha?
Well, well, consciousness is,
Hang on for just a second.
good, thank
Did
you.
you want to? Oh, okay. Anybody want to open it up here? Yeah.
Good, thank you.
I was just getting back in my mind to last week's conversation about frequency and vibration is what I was thinking about. I had an interesting experience. You know, we talked about faith last week. It was all, you know, we almost came to fisticuffs, but just kidding. But anyway, it was so interesting. I have several little books that I, you know, read a little bit out of each morning, right? The first three I picked up were talking about faith. I said, whoa, the vibration is going on there. They heard what we were talking about. So it was interesting. The first one I picked up was a lot of Black authors were talking about this, that, and the other. And it was Mary McLeod Bethune talking about the faith that she had to have to get Bethune-Cookman College going, and how, you know, she didn't get this, but she kept believing, you know, faith, faith, faith. And another one was about the whole little chapter was on faith. This was like the next day. So I just thought about, you know, how am I vibrating, you know,
right.
what is my awareness
Yeah.
of what is going on around me.
Mhm.
And I just thought that was interesting to share.
Very interesting. Gloria. Oh, were you going? Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
No, actually didn't have any comment, but I'm certainly have had that experience as well, Elliot. I think we all have.
Can you guys hear Gloria?
We probably have all shared a similar experience that Elliot is talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ashe.
Yeah. Ashe. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that shows Elliot and everybody that, you know, I mean, we've said it how many times? I've said it, you know, say it for the 74th time here, that you are, because it is only one, it's only one, then what you think, cognate, consciously imagine is what the world becomes. You know, and whether that's a safe place, whether it's a dangerous place, whether it's a particular, man, nothing's going right. You know, whatever, and it's not just like the second you say something necessarily, but it can be also. But it is becoming the entire, your world. See, there's the world and there's your world. You know, there is the planet, the universe, but my only perspective is my world. What does this look like from this perspective? This is all, or well, it's not all I have, but this is my vantage point. And this is where the center of consciousness, creativity comes from. So yeah, whatever you, and some people just, you know, I mean, anything. I just heard myself say, you know, ugly guys get, you know, beautiful women, or people get, you know, they just, And people are like, well, how'd you do that? Or anything. That's just one example. Well, how did he do that? Or how did she do that? Why is he? Because that's what they know. That's what they are. And if that's what you know, that's beyond faith. When you know it, that's what you are. And some people get no's and rejected at certain places, and then the same place, someone else gets a yes. So the difference is not out there. It really is you. And then we can and we do choose. Well, maybe we don't choose them. Maybe that's a part of the distraction. So much can be, use the word programmed or hardwired, that it can be challenging to break out of it. My mother, who died, she died of cancer. And right about the last year and a half of her life, she was sick and all this chemo and back and forth. And I said, in my wisdom, I was in my 20s, I said, Mom, I didn't say it quite this harsh, but basically I said, all physical ailments have like a mental, spiritual, psychological thing. And really, I think the cancer is just decades of, anger that you never really processed, right? I didn't say it quite like that, but that's basically what I was saying. And I could see she heard it for about a second. And I said it more than that, and we were really talking about it. And she heard it for about a second, but it was too much.
But then her feelings kicked in.
Yeah, it was too much.
Yeah.
So she was distracted from the fact that, because really the truth is, I am God, I am consciousness, and by the word of I am, I can heal the thing and I can manifest whatever. That's the truth. But yeah, feelings, emotions, age, habituation becomes that distraction to where she couldn't hear it. So now I say, well, yeah, I was young and dumb to think I could just walk up and tell someone in their 60s, basically you are God and you have the power. But it was young of me, but it was less distracted. And so now even sometimes I get to a place where, now I'm saying, someone says, I'm like, well, ain't nobody got time for that. I'm getting old now, But then I said, wait a minute. So there is no, we get habituated, we get distracted from that truth, emotions, as you said, anything. But that's being human. If you're human, are you not going to have some jealousy, some anger, some fear, some grief, some guilt?
Well, yeah, but you don't have to be run by it, because that's the being of human beings. We run by this stuff. So feelings, of course you're going to have feelings. That's the purpose of being human, for experience. The purpose of these bodies is experience. That's why there's sensory systems. That's why that hurts, okay? So there's a purpose for the physical body. So, I think this is something that's being looked at too, how the feelings are key as to the experience of being in these bodies. Because these bodies, they metabolize our feelings. This is how they can say, oh, your mind can make you well, or think positive, or say a prayer, because it's going to lift you. You're going to lift you to a higher frequency. And the word consciousness, there's animate and inanimate states of consciousness. Okay, and so, but what is the consciousness of your particular state of consciousness? What is the consciousness of your particular state of consciousness, your particular state of mind? That's the diversity within the infinity of infinite potential. So I just think that I don't particularly think about questions too much. I think everything is an inquiry, everything is an exploration. Just looking around, having these kind of conversations and seeing where they take you or not, And so I just think everything is a play of consciousness upon itself. I mean, consciousness can be very alert, it can be very asleep, it can be very dominant, it can be very aware, very unaware, but it's all the intangible, like principles. Love doesn't have some tangible, you can't locate what the word love is talking about, yet it's so powerful. You can't even locate pain, and yet it's so powerful because it's all frequencies where they can measure and determine certain things. So I just think there is, and that's why I like this thing called science of mind. And I see like mind, what is the science of mind? What is mind science? So what is the power of, what is faith even? If I use the word faith, what am I talking about? You know, I remember I probably don't have it straight, on the boat with Jesus and his disciples, when it came pretty rough and they went down and woke up, Jesus said, hey, we're gonna sink, come and do something. He was sleeping. So he says, you calling me for this? Basically, you calling me? You calling me? All y'all up here, you calling me?
But if I'm worried and upset and you calm, I'm gonna get more upset.
Well, he said, oh, you who have little faith, oh, ye who use little faith. So that wasn't a compliment.
Yeah, just jump in when you.
I'm not saying he was upset. I'm just saying that was not a compliment.
No, right, absolutely.
You know, you were mentioning the oneness of all of us. And it's true. We are all one. There's only one power. There's only one light. There's only one love. How we use it, how we are tapped into it. You know, Ernest Holmes said way back when, there's a power in the universe that's greater than you individually are, but you can use it. You can use the one power. You can use the one mind. That's why we think differently, but we're using one mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do you use the mind? And that's why where the meditation, the quiet, all of that is a part of us getting to a place where we can be quiet and hear that still small voice, as they call it, listening there, working on our listening skills, just to be quiet. Because as you say, distractions come up. Your eyes are closed and you think, oh yeah, and then something flies across your mind and you ride with it for a minute, you bring yourself back. So where we might be versus where somebody else is in life, we keep growing. You know, I think we never totally get to where we want to go. You know, we never totally get there, at least in this life. But I think if we remind ourselves, but it's not my mind, it's the mind, the one power, the one spirit, the one light that we use. That's my thought.
Mm-hmm. So, for example, perhaps there is no you. Perhaps, and for example, there is no you. Perhaps, and for example, there is no you. So, then what becomes the inquiry? Not what do I use, because, okay, the I that think about the I that you're referencing. If there is no you, speak about the I that you're referencing, for example. So I don't think you can use, I think to use anything, it becomes not. I think the inquiry is, what is it? Okay, I'm going to continue with it. What is the being of love? Not how do I use love, because that can become manipulative. But what is the being of love? What is the being of peace?
Well, Reverend Claire, I guess speaking to everyone's point about the oneness, and you mentioned that, and also about being a part in the attraction, you brought faith time after time, exhibited in different ways. This is a kind of a tried example, but I recall several months ago, Reverend Seth spoke about metamorphosis, and he used the example of a butterfly, which is a very simplistic example. And I thought back to my childhood when I was, many years ago, would always chase butterflies, not always see them. And after that, I saw more butterflies. And within the last year, since he has given that sermon, that lecture, I have seen more butterflies. And I had to ask myself, now, have they been here all along and I just ignored them? I didn't see them or what? But that, or it opened my eyes to them. But it is something about being at one, a part of, and also bringing what we are asking for or looking for, believing into our lives. Your mother may have brought into her life something because she had this experience of sadness, and it's been difficult for her to let go of it, and it manifested itself in that way. So we're all, in our own way, probably experiencing that.
Yes, because everything is a part of everything. That's oneness. Here's the thing. Everything, no matter how we feel about it, doesn't require our agreement and approval isn't necessary. Everything is a part of everything. That's what there is to get. So yes, some things we have certain value judgment. This is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad. But in the realm, in the infinity of it all, in the oneness of infinite mind, everything is a part of everything. Nothing's outside of what we call the mind of God. There's some scripture that says, God created everything outside of which there is nothing. So everything then is within the one, but it's a dance of mind in mind, the play of consciousness in consciousness, and so that's this whole one accord thing. Somewhere it says, when you can come together, agreeing on the same thing, there I am in the midst. There's more power, there's more possibility, more potential. But when there's great disagreement, for example, that's where chaos comes in. And that's only in terms of this being a human being. In the terms of the purity of what we are, which is what's attributed to Jesus as being Christ, which means offspring or son of spirit. We're all of spirit and of flesh. Every last one of us, we're of spirit and of flesh. So there's the Christ, the idea of the Christ is just as real as the idea of, probably more real. So I just think that, at least in this moment, I hold that everything is a part of everything. And I'm not saying I like everything, not that I agree with everything. I'm just saying everything is within the infinity of mind, And so, and the term but we can see what's wrong over here, what I don't like over here, but you don't see over here there's stuff going on too. That was your sermon on Sunday.
Yeah, D, that's gonna take you back to Donald Trump, D. Because I still want to know how science of mind, conscious people could say he's an idiot. And okay, well, that's fair. That's fair.
Yep, you
That's
did.
Was it, I don't know, was it Osho, was it Rumi? One of them was talking about whatever you're seeing.
So you were in that too. That's the part. Yes,
No, it's it. Yeah. So if I
Yeah.
look out and I say, wow, what a beautiful day, right? And someone else, right? I'm seeing, they say, you see the world not as it is, but you see the world as you are.
Well, yeah, but I don't see that aspect of myself I'm calling an idiot, which doesn't mean I'm not an idiot, but that aspect of myself I'm calling an idiot.
You're
that's an
saying you don't
aspect.
see it?
No, I don't see myself as an idiot, but I see that
Mm-hmm.
aspect, I see that aspect in being called this guy, I call it an idiot.
Is that a piece
But-
of
but if I
yourself
have-
that you're choosing not to see?
Well, no, that's a perception. I'm bringing that to. That's what I'm bringing to this. I'm bringing that to that part of myself known as that person's name. I'm bringing that to that person. So therefore, how he occurs for me is how I see him, and how I see him is as an idiot. So I'm creating the idiot
Yeah.
in my
So
seeing.
then he's not necessarily.
Well, it's in
You are he is to you.
In my seeing, yeah, I know who you are. I'm creating you, and I ain't celebrating you.
So
Yeah. They need the
If-
mic for you.
if
Yeah.
Talked about Actor Sunday.
Yeah, so maybe he's not truly an idiot, but he's acting like.
And I'm seeing that acting, and I'm saying he gets no role in my life.
Well, but that's not real either.
No, it's
because
not.
you can't say he doesn't have a role in your life.
No, because he
he's
does.
taking up. If you have so much psychic energy to spend every day, he's getting the piece. Talk to me, D, about this.
because if you don't let's see. Wait a minute. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, given that, say, a couple Sundays ago or a few minutes ago, you're saying what we see outside is what we are. And I remember earlier tonight you were talking about looking in a mirror, and we mirror what we create. If he's an idiot, there's an idiot over here too. I mean, that's the way I see it. You know,
Mhm.
it's
What did
like
these,
it's
can
it's
you talk
like.
about,
Can you hear me?
We can hear
Wait
you
a
a little
minute.
louder if you can.
a little louder for me, my hearing is being interesting.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So what I said, if I see an idiot over there, there's an idiot over here. I'm mirroring what I see.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, and I don't even know if this is going to make any sense. You know how you have those mothers in the church, in some churches, get all dressed up in white on Sunday and let somebody come in there with a little short dress and stomach hanging out in good shape, and
Uh-huh.
they just bring them to church. And what they're seeing over there is their young self, but they don't even want to acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm, yes.
So I'm a firm believer, if I see that you're an idiot over there, there's an idiot over here too.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Yeah, there must be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all, what if everything is in the seeing? What if
Mm-hmm.
everything is in the seeing? What if that, I mean, really, what if everything is in the seeing? If you grant that as a possibility, what more are you willing to see?
Yeah, it's
You
how to
could
see things
mirror
as they
yourself.
are truly. So if we're going to see things as they are truly from within ourselves, and we call somebody an idiot, that idiot lives over here too.
Yeah, so where are you seeing from? Where are you seeing from then? If it's over here, if it's over here, where am I seeing from that I see idiot occurring before me?
Your own idiot consciousness.
Idiotness.
Okay, so what is the source of that though? Where is that coming from? Where is the idiot
It's coming from the
consciousness?
Claire,
entire mind. It's coming from the same place everything comes from. But
Sure.
what is your choice of the entire omniscience? You're choosing and curating a certain pieces of
Well,
experience.
so it's sold by agreement.
So,
It's by,
you know,
because
it's like, Claire, that's like asking, how do you breathe? Nobody
say that
can tell
again,
you
Dee.
that's like asking, how do you breathe? We can't tell you, you talked about it earlier, we can't tell you what's going to come out of our mouth next.
No, but what comes out of your mouth is information as to what's within you. What comes out
Okay,
of my
so
mouth, information as to what's within my consciousness.
so if
Yeah, Jesus.
seeing something as an idiot, that's in your consciousness, right?
Sure, must be. Yeah, yeah. Well, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, you know me. Where can I locate that in my consciousness?
Hey, where can you locate how to
I'm
breathe in
just
your
saying before.
consciousness?
You can only locate what's
But
physical.
right, so therefore,
Yeah.
it's not really, it's not actual. It is a thought, it is an idea, it is an interpretation, it is a perception according to my worldview. I'm just saying, you keep I don't think there's a final answer to this conversation, by the way. I
It
think we
isn't.
keep, exploration. We can continue to look. We continue to look. We don't land someplace, because I don't think there's an is like an is. I think it's a journey. I think it's an exploration. I don't think mind is solid. I don't think consciousness is solid. I don't think there's anything fixed. I think it's all a journey. I think it's a journey in terms of being. In terms of being, and so.
Well, Dr. Clara, can I just jump in for a second? Just wanted to throw something out. When I was saying that, that Ernest Holmes quote about, you can use it, and you were saying the word use could be manipulative. And so I was just trying to get back to that.
Well, I'm saying if I use my love for you, if you use your love for me, is that really the nature of love? He was saying there's a power in the universe, a power within you and around you that you have access to. You tune in. That's how I hear him using the word use. There's a power within what you are, all around you, that you tune in and it's available to you. But I don't think I can use something to, for example, even like truth. How do I apply truth? If I try to apply and use love, if I try to apply and use something, what is that? I don't think that's what Ernest Holmes is talking about. I think that's why he said it's open at the top, because he knew there was a lot more to everything he had discovered, and there's more yet to be discovered. So I think that we have access for our own evolution, for our own expansion, for our own discovery, self-discovery. Also, what he said too was the greatest discovery we made was thinking. That's what Ernest Holmes said too.
So when I go out and get in my car, should I use the steering wheel or just?
Well, you can use things, but you can't. That's when it comes to things. I can use his microphone. That's things, but because this has form.
Can I use knowledge?
Well, I think knowledge is important, but what do you call in knowledge? Because I think Trump, he's using knowledge. His idea of knowledge, he's applying that. His whole
working
campaign,
for him pretty well too.
His whole campaign is based on knowledge.
It's working for him. I would say that.
Well, he knows these principles. Listen, Trump uses
absolutely.
these principles.
Yeah,
He
for
uses
sure.
these principles. He does.
Yeah, but I think we can, and I don't see the line between what is physical and what is not physical is not a line either. And anytime in my years of practice, right, if I'm practicing, I say, okay, well, let me just not have anything going on about it. Let me just meditate through this. Let me, just be patient. I'm using something in practice. So same with the steering wheel. Yeah, you should practice safe driving. But that's not it.
Well, I think I'm in a state of consciousness. I think like young women, listen, you ever had a man, you were a kid, say, if you love me, you'll do thus and so? Many girls, 9 months later, have some babies and the boy's gone. So this, if you love me, he's going to use the word love to entice you, to enroll you in something. So I'm saying that I can use seingness, but when it comes to being, when it comes to what we are, we're more than that song, more than flesh, we're more than everything. So I'm just saying that when people try to use friendliness, that could be deceitful, but they be very successful in using friendliness and using lies and using whatever. So the word use is an interesting word. I think things are for our use, but I don't think my love is for your use.
If you love me, you'll do such and such. That's using something. It's not using love,
but they're
agape.
but they're using the word love, though. I've had that word.
Well, that's using words to manipulate, but that's not using love.
They have convinced many people that's love. So I'm just saying that I think there's everything yet to think. I don't think I think so far, the sum total of our thinking is about that much in terms of the infinite. I think we're in the beginning of everything, no matter how much, whatever, how much, blah, blah, blah. And come to the infinite, I hold that we're in the beginning. And I hold that our whole humanness is infancy within what we are. That's how I have it wired in this moment.
Okay.
I was
Need to
told
for
something
this.
the other day, and I've been looking at it, and the person said to me, wherever you are in consciousness is where you are. you know.
Evan.
So if
And there's a
I'm
Bible that says, wherever you lift up your eyes, I am there. That I am there wherever you
that
are. That's
are,
where we
yeah,
are.
yeah, you know,
Okay.
and it's like wherever you are in consciousness. So if I'm out there cursing somebody out, that's where I am. If I'm out there calling somebody a name, that's where I am. And to me, that reflects who I'm being in that moment.
Yeah, in that moment, Ashe, in that moment.
Yeah,
And that
in that
moment's not
moment.
history. The minute is, it's fleeting.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fleeting. But
it's
we get
gone.
stuck in moment.
Yeah,
And to get stuck, maybe that's the beauty of human being, to get stuck.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. The vicious
Well, okay,
circle.
we're gonna wind it on down. Gene, anything you want to say or nah? Yeah, we got
And
a
Vanessa and
couple minutes
Andrea.
here. Gene, Vanessa, if not mandatory, but we want to hear you.
Miss Clara, um, do you remember some of our deeper conversations and you would have gum and you would take a moment, pass out the gum and say, let's just chew gum and look crazy.
Yeah, I love that.
This conversation
Yeah.
could be one of those moments because it gives people, but me, a moment to digest what is being said because it's all important. Um, it feels important that I understand, like the conversation about consciousness. Um, that I'd like Andrea introduced that into this conversation, and I would have loved to hear a little bit more about that. And you did touch on it. But that would have been one of those moments where we just paused and spoke that up. So I just want to say that because it felt like it was moving very fast, and there were a lot of good points that I would love to have gone into. I say,
Yeah, Ashe. Yeah, it is moving fast because, yes, we'll have to have some gum. We'll bring some gum and,
Okay, I got some gum in the car.
yeah. Vanessa?
Vanessa, not mandatory. Any closing thoughts?
Well, the phrase, I think is from Course in Miracles, everything unlike love is a call for love. And this whole conversation is so rich and deep, I find, about who is the other and what is their behavior and what is my behavior. And I just feel like if I can remember everything not like love is a call for love, I don't know, it just helps me feel that loving vibration inside. And then anything else, I think someone said it a few minutes ago. It's like when your kids are really little, it's like you love them, but that behavior is not okay. You know, you teach them, ideally, it's not that you're bad, it's that, but that behavior, it's not okay to act that way. And so that kind of helps me reconcile all the disparities in life in others as well as in myself. And I feel like, oh, I just need to anchor more love for myself and for all others. And then I can touch those transcendent moments of peace. And I also remember that chewing gum from a long time ago. That was just the best.
Ashe?
Ashe.
Right.
Andrea?
Um, and I don't have my glasses. Jane, I really appreciate what you said. That's really what's present for me.
mhm.
I that when I get off the call, I was gonna go talk to my husband and just let him know that somebody heard me. And it's really spaces like this that you've created, that allows me and people to speak into it. Because where else, there's not many places to go in my life, in my space, to speak and to hear just this wonderful conversation. Thank you.
Ashe?
Yeah, beautiful. So we're going to take next Wednesday. We won't be here next Wednesday, September 4th, but then we're coming back September 11th, so 2 weeks from today. And then we're calling it Spiritual Principles and Biblical Teachings. You're going to find it's going to be very similar conversation, but we want to incorporate some biblical literacy also. And that sounds about right. Yes, that's clear. Yeah.
Ultimately, they bees one.
Yeah, so we'll see you hopefully in 2 weeks, and much love and respect. And yeah, there are a lot of things I could say to close, but I will say, don't use anything. Or use
Just practice being.
Yeah, just be.
Remember, Theodosia, you didn't know her like this, because he said, just be the love. Just be the love. Theodosia, her name was Theo, we call her T. She'd say, just be the love. Just be the love. That's it, just be the love. And you have the most emaciated looking kids who were suffering from malnutrition. She said, see the beauty. They go, what? He said, see the beauty in everything. Just see the beauty. So let's just see beyond seeing. Let's just practice seeing beyond seeing. And
No, don't even open that up again. Nope. She didn't say nothing. Good night. Drive safely. Thank y'all. Zoom. Love you.
Good night.
Good night.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Right.
Oh my goodness.